And you'll also learn how to make your own motion graphic title, just like the one I started with at the beginning of this video.
Welcome back to Blender for Blogs, where we are using Blender to edit videos for our blogs. Okay, that was dumb, but I'm Justin, and yes, this is Blender for Blogs, and today I'm going to show you how to create a professional-looking 2D motion graphic, or MoGraph for short, very quickly and very easily using the techniques you already know if you've been following along with this series. And so you can see here in the background, I've got it playing on a loop, and this is my little motion graphic, which of course you see every time anyway, because I have that for all of my videos. But I'm going to show you how I did this. And like I said, it's with techniques you already know. So let's get started here. Basically, I've just layered a whole bunch of different images on top of each other, which I made, of course, can you guess? In Google Slides. Yep. So let's go over to Google Slides. And you can see here, I have the background. This is not an actual object in my scene. It's just part of the background. And I do that purposely so I don't accidentally select it and move it. But you can see down here, I have all of my little motion graphic objects. And I'm going to show you individually here. So this one is just a picture that I had created in another Google Slides when I was creating my logo. And so I just imported that in, and all you have to do here is go to Image and then Upload from your computer and then choose your file. And it's pretty simple. And these two things actually are just objects. I'm going to go ahead and copy and just pull these out here so you can kind of see. They're just different shapes. So this shape is going to be up here. I think it's this one. Yeah, just drag it out, and you can change the color and all of that stuff up here. You know, fill color, and you can, if you want a border color, you can make it border whatever. And then if you want to put text in there, all you have to do is double click on it, and then just start typing. Oop. Stuff. Okay, but anyway, I'm not gonna worry about that. Cool thing here is you can like this little, if you can see this little like, it looks like a keyframe in Blender actually, but it's a little yellow diamond shaped thing. You can pull that in to adjust the rounding of the corners there. So same thing here. And same thing here, except for this one, I believe the shape was this one, the rounded rectangle. So something like that. And you can make it like a little, you know, pill. Looks like a little pill that you can take. Don't take pills. Don't do drugs, kids. Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna delete these. But that's how you would do that, and then just add your own text, and then you can change the colors and the sizes and all that stuff. I'm sure you already know how to do all of that. So just gonna go ahead and delete those. And then the shine. So I created a little like shine, which adds a little bit more of a professional look to it. I'm gonna go copy this and put this over here. Basically, this is just also another shape. So what shape was this? This was, I think, no, not a rectangle. It was a parallelogram. Yep, so just drag it out and it's already like that for you. Again, you have this little yellow diamond. You can change the size and the shear. Is that what it's called? The way it you know, leans to the side, I guess. You can still also change to the no, you can change the size just like regular as well. But you probably already know all of this, but this is for people who aren't very familiar with presentation software or Google Slides. So anyway, so that's all I did. It's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects, and I just duplicated out each one on an individual slide. So I basically duplicated the first slide, and then I deleted everything except for one of the objects. You can also just make a new slide and then do a copy paste. So you copy and then go to the next slide, paste. So however you want to do that. But the idea is to have one object per slide so that we can layer them in Blender. Okay, so before we export these, we want to make sure that the background is transparent, because if I just export this now, it will have this whole background here. So I'm going to select slide 2, shift select slide 6, go to background, go to color, and then choose transparent. Hit done. And now all of these objects will be on transparent backgrounds. Now with them all still selected, go to add-ons, slides toolbox. If you don't have that, go to get add-ons and select slides toolbox and install that. I'm just going to go to open, going to go to export tools over here on the side, and then hit PNG and export that. And I've already done that, so I'm going to just cancel that. If you try to do JPEG, it's not going to recognize transparency, so this would just show a white background. And then you can try vector graphics. I haven't had too much success with that, but you know, you can experiment with that. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. Alternatively, you can actually select one of these at a time, go up to File, Download as PNG, and download one at a time if you don't have very many. But if you have a whole bunch of slides, I suggest doing the slides toolbox there. Okay, so back in Blender, basically I've just imported each of these here individually. You can see as just individual images. But I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do that. So first, I'm just going to come up here and hit the plus, go to New, and we're going to start over so I can show you what I've already done from the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to do Shift A, add an image, and select my background first. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you a really easy way of doing this if you're not going to use the shine. So Shift A, add in your image. So I'm actually going to select the ones I want, which is all of them except for the shines. So just these three here. And then add image strip, and that's going to add it in all as one. So each frame is a different image. And I'm going to hit Y, which brings up our separate images. And then I'm going to type in 100 here and hit OK. And then with these still selected, I'm going to hit Shift S to snap them all together there so that they're all overlapping. Now I'm going to Shift select one of them to make sure it is highlighted. So you can see if I keep Shift selecting, I'm changing the active strip. All of them are still selected, but the active strip is changing. So I'm just going to make sure one of them is active, and then come over here and change the blend mode to overdrop. And then I'm just going to right select and then click copy to selected, and then that's going to, everything else that's selected, it's going to copy this overdrop to that. So I don't have to click and do it for every single one of them individually, which is really cool. Now, sometimes that is grayed out for certain reasons, and if it's grayed out for you, I'm sorry. But for most of the time, it usually works. So now I'm just going to reorder these. Let's see, this one is going to be on top, so that's going to be up here. And then this one is going to be next, which is good, which is right here. And then I'm going to grab this one up and pull it up here, just so I have a little bit more room to work with. And I'm going to take this background and grab that and snap it along those by hitting Control. Okay, so now basically what we're going to do is we're going to animate our image offset, and the cool thing about this is if I select image offset, nothing happens because we have placed our images exactly where we want them in Google Slides, and that saves ourselves a lot of headache from trying to use Blender to place those. Okay, so basically we're going to be just animating these like this. So this is going to come in and go up. Whoosh, to 0 there, and then we're going to have these down here, same thing, image offset, go back and forth or in and out like that. Whoosh. And this one as well. Now, obviously, you can still see these back here right now, but we can fix that really quickly by hitting Shift A, add in an effect strip, color, grab that and move that up here. All right, and then We're going to change the color to a white because we're going to use this as a mask. Remember, everything that's white will show and everything that's black will be transparent. So I'm going to change the blend mode to overdrop. And then I'm going to bring down the opacity so we can kind of see what we're doing here. And then I'm going to rename this to mask. And then I'm going to image offset and move this along the X axis all the way to right about the edge of that. And then I'm going to select our top bar, go to modifiers, add strip modifier, mask, and then we're going to select our mask. Boom. And it disappears. And then we're going to do the same thing, bottom bar, modifiers, add strip modifier, mask, and then choose our mask. And make sure this is on strip and not mask. If it's on mask, then that's going to be like an external mask that we've created separately. But this is our mask using this strip as a mask. And you can see they're both invisible because they're not within the masked area. So if I drag this out here to there, and then this out to here, and if I take this, go back to our strip tab, and now if I move along the X, you can see, oh, it's coming in right where that mask is. And if I move that mask out a little bit more, like that, and refresh the sequencer, you can see now that cuts off right there. And if I move that back and forth, it's going to cut off right there. But if I keep that mask over right here, then it appears to be going in and out of that little Blender Frenzy logo. And that's pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Actually, just type 0 because that is the default position. And same thing here. And then that's going to come out just like that. And that is it. And then all you'd have to do is just animate these using keyframes. So you'd have this one coming up or coming into the side or coming however you want in, and then having these kind of jut out just like that. Of course, you would want to hide your mask. Hiding the mask doesn't change anything. As you can see, it still works there. Okay, so that's the basic version. But if you wanted to give it a little bit more professional look, you can add that little shine to it, and I think that looks really nice. So I'm going to show you how to achieve that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this mask here, and we're going to kind of separate these out. And I'm actually going to hide the graph editor here real quick. So we have a little bit more room to work. We'll need the graph editor later when we're doing our animation, but right now, I'm just going to move this one up. This is our logo, so I'm going to hide that. And then I'm going to move this one down, and you'll see why here in a minute. I'm just going to focus on these one at a time, so I'm going to hide that too. And then I'm going to Shift D to duplicate that up on the Y. And I'm going to Shift D and duplicate that again. And you'll see why again in a minute here. I'm going to change this one, keep this selected because they're all duplicates of each other now. Go over to Change Data Files. And I'm going to change this to my top shine here. And you can see that overlays on top of the other one. And the reason I didn't have to do overdrop here is because I duplicated these, which already had the overdrop blend mode on there. Okay, and so you can see basically eventually what we're going to be doing is just taking this shine back and forth, just like this with our image offset. But we need that masked out as well. But the mask that we had before wasn't going to do because if we scroll in here and I move this here, I need it to disappear here. Now I could just make another mask and put it, right here, but you can see because we have the rounded corners up here, that wouldn't actually look very good. You would still have, when you have right here, starting to go off the page, you'd have either just a hard cut here and then a little tiny corner up there, And well, that would be doable. Really, I prefer it to look like it is shining exactly on that rounded corner, just as if it was just like a reflection or something on our object. Now that means we need this exact thing to be a mask itself. Now you can actually create that in Google Slides if you duplicated this object and then made it all white, and then you just import it in as another image. But I found that you can actually do the same thing in Blender very easily. So that's why I duplicated. That's why we still have two duplicates here. So this middle one, what I'm going to do is actually, here, I'm going to hide this one, and I'm going to hide this one for now so you can see what's going on. So this middle one, I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to come down here, scroll down to where it says color, and then multiply. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crank that all the way up. Boom. And you can see now I have a complete white area exactly where this object is, creating our mask, which is amazing in my opinion. So now I'm going to unhide these, and I'm going to hide this one. And with that one selected, again, I have to come up here. I'm going to change this to a more user-friendly name. I'm going to do mask top bar. And then select our shine, go to our modifiers, and it already had that mask here for us because we duplicated it with the mask already on that one. So I'm just going to select mask and then mask top bar. And let's see what happens when we go back to our strip and our image offset and move our shine. Oh, look at that. That is pretty darn sweet. And it's just going to stay within the confines of that mask. Awesome. And the other cool thing about that is we can use that for the bar itself, since really this is the only area where we are going to need to see this bar. I'm going to select it, modifiers, and choose mask top bar. And that way, let's zoom out here a little bit. When I move that, go back to strip and then RX, then it's going to go in and out of its own mask, basically. Which is going to create the same illusion. So if I stop right about there, and then I unhide the top one here, it's going to create that same illusion of it going into, where is that again? There we go, into that icon. So that is pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, so now let's do that with the bottom bar. So I'm going to go ahead and select these and hide those, and then unhide this one. Shift D to duplicate that up a couple of times. And then for the shine, I'm going to select the top one, change data files. Get our bottom shine there. And if you scroll in here, you can see that doesn't go all the way to the top, but that's just specific. That's how I made it in Google Slides, and that's just because our top bar actually covers that anyway. So you can make that however you want that to look, but I'm not going to change anything there. So yeah, so we're going to make sure this one is our mask. So just go select it and go down to our color, multiply, crank that all the way up to 20, and then hide it. Now let's rename it mask bottom bar. And now we can use that as our mask. So choose bottom bar for that one and bottom bar for this one as well. And let's test that out. Let's go to our shine and move our offset. Oh yeah, perfect. And then make sure this one still works as well. Yep. All right. So now we are all set up to start doing our animations. We're going to leave our masks hidden, but I'm going to unhide all of these up here like that. All right. I'm going to save it now, and then shift Control-Shift-S to save as, hit plus for 102 if you save in iterations like I do. All right, so I think I'm going to stop here, and we'll get to the animating of this MoGraph in the next video. So stay tuned and you'll see me over there.